So hello students. Up till now we have seen the spur gear, that is unit number 1, and helical gear, worm and wormwheel, spiral gears, bevel gears, that is in unit number 2. Now next we have to proceed for unit number 3, that is gear train. So name itself gear train. So what is gear train? Sometimes two or more gears are made to mesh with each other to transmit power from one shaft to another shaft. What happens? Sometimes only two gears are not sufficient to transmit the power as per the application point of view. So depending upon the applications, there may be more gears required to transmit the power from input shaft to output shaft. So in that case, when two or more gears are made to mesh with each other to transmit power from one shaft to another shaft, such combination is called as gear train or train of tooth wheels. As all of you know that train, so generally the train, it is having an engine and various bogies are attached to it. So here also various gears are there and they are meshing with each other. That's why name it's given gear. Now there are some types of gear train. So depending upon the arrangement of wheels, that is gear wheels, following types of gear trains are exist. So which are those? So first one is simple gear train, second one is compound gear train, third one is reverted gear train, and fourth one is epicyclic gear train. If you see the first three types, simple gear train, compound gear train, and reverted gear train, the axis of the shafts over which the gears are mounted are fixed. Students, remember this. In these three gear trains, simple, compound, reverted, the axis of the shafts over which the gears are mounted are fixed relative to each other. But in case of epicyclic gear train, the axis of the shafts on which the gears are mounted may move relative to a fixed axis. And that's why these epicyclic gear train are very a special case of gear train. In this chapter, we have to see the analysis of this epicyclic gear train also. There are some methods to solve the numericals on epicyclic gear train. We will see in the later stage. Now, one by one, we can study the gear train. So, first one, simple gear train. Now, here I have drawn the figure. Here, this is a gear number 1. It is meshing with gear number 2. And gear 1 is rotating in clockwise direction. Therefore, gear 2 is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. Then and only then motion is transmitted. Here it is shown in the in this view also. Here it is a shaft. On this one gear is mounted up to here, and another gear is here. Another shaft is this one. So here I have given the name driver, and this is a driven or forward. Driver means I have given the power to gear number 1. That's why it is a driver. When it is moving or and it is meshing with gear number 2. When it is moved, then motion is transmitted from this gear to this gear, and therefore the power from one shaft is transmitted to shaft number 2. Now this such type of combination is known as simple gate. When there is only one gear on each shaft, as shown in figure, it is known as simple gate. The gears are represented by their pitch circle. So these are represented by pitch circle. Since the gear 1 drives the gear 2, therefore gear 1 is known as driver, as already I told you, and the gear 2 is called as driven gear, or it is also known as follower. Motion of the both the gears are opposite to each other. Already I have mentioned this. Now let us say, so N1 is the speed of gear 1, N2 is the speed of gear 2. Then T1 is the number of teeth on gear 1 and T2 is the number of teeth on gear 2. Now, seeing the speed ratio or velocity ratio of gear train is the ratio of speed of the driver to the speed of the driven. The speed ratio is speed of the driver to the speed of the driven. So N1 upon N2, and that is equal to T2 upon T1, or inverse of their number of teeth, that is T2 upon T1. You have to remember the speed ratio. Speed of driver divided by speed of driven. So N1 by N2, T2 by T1. You can give any notation. One term is their train value. So it may be noted that the ratio of the speed of the driven to the speed of the driver is known as train value. So train value is speed of driven to the speed of driver, and that is equal to T by T2. You can conclude that from equation 1 and 2, train value is the reciprocal of speed ratio. What happens? Sometimes the distance between two gears is large. The motion from one gear to another in such case may be transmitted by either of the following two methods. So which are the two methods? First method is by providing the large size gears, and second one is by providing one or more intermediate gear. So a little consideration is that the first method is very inconvenient and uneconomical method, because manufacturing of large size gears, so it is costly and it is uneconomical, and it also require more space. Whereas the another method, that is providing one or more intermediate gear, is very convenient and economical. So it may be noted that when the number of intermediate gears are odd, the motion of the driven and driver is same as shown in figure B. So this is the figure B. So intermediate gear here, it is, this is a driver, this is actually output shaft, so driven gear. So and in between this gear 1 and 3, another gear is mounted, that is intermediate gear. So here one gear is mounted, so it is odd figure. So if suppose it is rotating clockwise, gear 1, then second rotate anti-clockwise, and third again clockwise. So motion of input and output will be same. So if intermediate gear is odd, so motion of driven and driver is same. Whereas if intermediate gears are even, so you can find motion of driver and driven are opposite to each other. This is clockwise, this is anti-clockwise. If it is anti-clockwise, this is clockwise. This is clockwise, this is anti-clockwise. So these are shown in figure. Now consider a simple gear train with one intermediate gear. That is, please carefully observe gear figure number B. Let N1 is the speed of driver, N2 is the speed of intermediate gear, and N3 is the speed of driven gear. Similarly, T1 is the number of teeth on gear 1, T2 is the number of teeth on gear 2, and T3 is the number of gear on gear number 3. Since the driving gear 1 is in mesh with 2, therefore first we will calculate speed ratio of 1 and 2. Speed ratio, So driver upon driven. So N1 is driver, N2 is driven in this case. So N1 upon N2 is equal to T2 by T1. Now similarly intermediate gear 2 is in mesh with driven gear 3. So speed ratio, so 2 becomes driver, 3 becomes driven. So again driver upon driven. So N2 upon N3 is equal to T3 by T2. So from equation 1 and 2, speed ratio is obtained by multiplying equation 1 and 2. We get so N1 by N2 into N2 by N3 left hand side, that is equal to T2 by T1 into T3 by T2. So N2 get cancel, speed same, number of teeth on 2 and number of teeth on 2 cancel. So we will get finally N1 by N3 is equal to T3 by T1. So here N1 by N3 equal to T3 by T1. And from this equation we can write speed ratio is equal to speed of driver divided by speed of driven, and that is equal to number of teeth on driven to the number of teeth on driven. This is for simple gear train. From above we see that speed ratio and train value in simple gear train is independent of the size and number of intermediate gear. These intermediate gears are called as an idle gears or idler, as they do not affect the speed ratio or train value of the system. The idle gears are used for the following purpose. So which are the purpose? First, to connect gears where large center distance is required, and second, to obtain the desired direction of motion of the driven gear, that is clockwise or anti-clockwise. So in this way we have seen the simple gear train. Next module we will see regarding the compound gear train. So we will see in the next class.